Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Review morning briefing for Friday, the 2nd of February. It's the day after the uneventful day before, pretty much. I'm joined by Stevie Clifford to discuss both that and looking forward to tomorrow's game against Livingston. Are back in action. How are we doing, Stevie?
Yeah, fine, thank you. Good morning, everyone. It is a bit blustery today, Derek. It was taking the dog out this morning. It was proverbial blown a hoolie, as they say in parts of Scotland. So I'm glad to be back in. Although I did say to you off air, I've got a dentist this morning, which is never fun, is it? So
I actually don't mind going to the dentist, but I've not really had much. I know people go and they get serious work done from time to time. Mine's is usually just checkups and the like.
yeah, I've not got any major stuff planned either, but it's still
Yeah.
it's never really like she's a lovely woman and all that, the doctor,
Yeah.
but it's never really pleasant, is it? So
No. What I've found is living down south is a lot more expensive for going to the dentist than what it was back home. So one of the things you just have to put up with. But there you go. Right, folks, let's talk Rangers. Before we do that, quick word for our podcast sponsors, the MPH Group. You know the drill by now. If you're looking for some home improvements or even a new boiler, I think I need a new boiler. Mine was going absolutely bananas last night, making all sorts of noises. Then these are the guys to call. They've got flexible finance options available as well. The all-important links are in the description below. We were on last night, Stevie, a marathon show. Thanks, incidentally, to everyone for tuning in and interacting at last night. It was quite something, just shy of 3 hours, which is quite incredible considering we only had the Oscar Cortez news to discuss, which was a move that was always going to materialize. That was announced at 9 p.m., but we managed to make it through regardless. For anyone that's maybe hasn't seen the show, Stevie, you've got an article on the website this morning. Views and feelings about it?
yeah, I think that we're stronger than when we first started. I think that the three that have come in are potentially on paper good signings, but also at the same time, I feel like we're short, Derek, because I feel like we really, really need a striker, and we've left a lot of weight on Cyril Desser's shoulders, and if he gets injured, I think we're in big trouble. And that's my main overriding feeling. It's not one of negativity or feeling that the guys coming in aren't good enough. I don't want that to be confused with what I'm saying. However, I do worry that we are short up top, and an injury to the big man, who's done great recently, but we're putting a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and maybe he'll thrive in that. But it's a whole injury situation. If you consider how we've been this season with injuries as well, it's a lot of kind of pressure to maybe have on one person. So that's my concern. The three guys that have come in, Derek, I think will do really well. I'm looking forward to seeing Oscar Cortez. I think he's a cracking profile. I'm looking forward to seeing Diamandi as well. So, I think these boys have the signings were brought in are 20, 21, 22. So that's exciting. It's a young kind of presence, good ages, good profiles. So there's no negativity for me there at all. Like, I think these guys are good on paper, good signings. I'm actually really quite excited to see Cortez. I think that he's going to be an exciting prospect. He's going to add that kind of pace and dynamism maybe on the wing, and that's all positive. But a big issue for me is the striking issue. So I don't want to come across as being ultra negative and really downbeat. I just feel a wee bit deflated that I think that, Derek, we have the momentum and the overall good feeling at this moment in time. And I think that with the home games coming up and the way the fixtures are going, we've got a real opportunity to put together a stretch of results that'll really help, especially after coming through really two difficult away games. So the squad have done great. The manager has done fantastic since he's come in. And I think that if we brought in a striker, then we would have galvanised that feeling amongst the support, which is one of kind of positivity at this moment. Because we've not brought in a striker, there's that fear factor of what happened previously. And I spoke about that in the article this morning, Derek, of Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's time in charge when we were at the exact same window needing a striker. We didn't get one. And we ended up Morelos got injured in early March, I think, away to Dundee.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we were going with Joe Aribo up front. Now, Joe did fantastically well. And we got all the way to a European final, but that subsequently lack of striking options cost us. We didn't win the league. Celtic then went on to win the league. From that Champions League money, they strengthened with Jota, Carter, Vickers. They then sell Jota on for 25 million the season after. Everything has a domino effect to that one moment in January where we didn't slightly push the boat out. And I hope and fear that I hope that that's not going to happen again, but my fear is that it is going to replace itself. It's a lot to put on Cyril Dessers, and it's not that I'm sitting here saying he's not good enough. I think he's been fantastic the last couple of weeks, Derek, and we've spoke a lot about his stats under Clement, 9 and 18, 4 assists and stuff, and that's all fantastic, and it's not a slight on the big man, but it's a lot to put on any one striker's shoulders, especially when you take Sima's goals out of there. Somebody's going to have to step up, so that's my concerns about it. So it's a twofold, I think. Really pleased with who's come in, Derek. Excited to see what they're going to be like. Diamandi's a big outlay for us in terms of, the obligation to buy and things like that. So he's another one that's going to be really good and really exciting to see. Still think we've to see from Fabio Silva as well. So it's not a case of me criticising the work we've done. I do think that that's made us stronger, but I still think we just needed that extra push for that forward. And hopefully, Cyril Dessers continues that form and we look back on this and say, well, the big man, he was enough all along anyway. Great, fantastic. But I have to be honest in my kind of critique or points of where I think we are this January. What about you? Because obviously you were asking a lot last night, but you never really got the chance to kind of say. I know me and Joshua kind of took over for a wee 10 minutes and to my amazement, even Joshua was kind of saying that he agreed. But where are you on it all?
Yeah, I've said in many videos, Stevie, I think Rangers needed at least one number 9 to come in the building in this window. I remain to be convinced that Fabio, I know Joshua was saying that Fabio Silva could be that guy. I need to be convinced about that, to be honest. I worry that Rangers are too light up there. I think that the onus is on Cyril to keep on this rich vein of form that he's on at the moment. If he's not going to score the goals, who is? We're relying on both Silva and Cortez to really hit the ground running and contribute hugely up top. So, slightly concerned. I do have a lot of trust, though, in the manager. I think
me too.
He's earned that trust, and you need to believe that he knows what he must be quite content and happy with the squad that he has at this moment in time. We'll hear from him, incidentally, later. There was a comment that came in from someone asking when the press conference is. 1:10 is a player, folks. 1:30 the manager will speak to us. So it'll be intriguing to find out. I'm sure he will be asked, Stevie, about the fact that no proper out-and-out number 9 has came in the building. But you've just got to trust him in this one, I think. I do worry, like you. It's you hark back to when Morelos got injured that time. I still think if he was fit, Rangers win that trophy over in Seville. But it does have that domino effect, doesn't it? Rangers weren't playing yesterday, but it could turn out to be one of the most important days in the season in terms of recruitment. The proof will be in the pudding, I guess, kicking off tomorrow when Rangers take on Livingston. A number of home matches coming up. Favourable games, you've got to say, on paper. But Rangers still need to go out there and do the business. I still fancy Rangers, incidentally. I've seen a lot of people on social media, which is not a good barometer, really, for the fan base. But some of the forecasts were pretty wild, to say the least, saying that Rangers have thrown away the league. I think that's not the case whatsoever. I know that across the city, the fans there aren't too enamoured with some of their recruitment. So that gives me belief, Stevie, that this title race will go down to the wire. This team are a different animal now than what they were at the start of the season. They're grinding out results. They're playing better football. They're playing for the manager as well. We heard James Tavernier in that interview with Joshua and Lamanga saying they'd run through brick walls for the manager now. Don't think that was the case under Michael Beale. So, albeit it is an area of the pitch we would all have liked to have seen strengthened, I think that squad is good enough for me to go on and win the title. But I guess question marks over Diamandi and Cortez, whether they can get up to speed quickly. Let's hope they can do just that, because Stevie, they are the sort of players that Rangers should be looking to recruit, aren't they? The right age, exciting, and they've got that potential resale value as well, that Rangers need to kickstart that player trading model.
Yeah, there's quite a few points in there, Derek. So first of all, on the manager, I think the manager has been fantastic. I really do. He's really great to work with and speak to. I think he's good in press conferences. He's got the balance really well between being kind of acceptably funny and serious. It's a consistent message all the time, which I really enjoy from him. There's no muddling. There's no, contradiction in there. And I think that his message has been fantastic, which when you speak to players and stuff, they will tell you that he's exactly like that with them, and it makes it really clear, and they're really organised and know what they're doing. And I think you can see that on the pitch. So my disappointment in not getting a 9 shouldn't undermine my feelings that the manager has been nothing but a positive, and I've got the utmost trust in him. But I do think that he is somewhat working magically with a squad that could have done with a wee bit more. There's also the other side to it, which understand the realism that you can't do everything in one go. So I am realistic enough to know that and understand that. I think that in the future under Philip Clement is really positive. I think that the future transfer windows and the profiles of players that we're being targeted with and going for are very exciting. Like you said, that player trading model has to come in, which I understand completely. Gone are the days most likely where you'll spend 4, 5, 6 million on 28-year-old strikers and hope, I don't think that'll be the case. I think that if you get a player like that, it will be an investment for a younger guy that we can sell on. So all that makes sense, and I think all that's really, really positive, Derek. So even the guys that we didn't get, forgive me if I'm wrong, I think we were linked with a midfielder, Bullet, at the time, the guy who played for Dynamo, the Croatian guy. Is that right? Yeah. So yeah. I looked into him at the time, and he had quite an exciting kind of profile and resume. He's a kind of ideas that we're looking for as well. So no, there's no criticism of that. I think that's all really positive, and that kind of that encourages me for what we're going to do in the summer. If you get that kind of enthusiasm in of these guys, then yeah, it works really well. As you spoke about Cortez and Diamandi, which we speak about now, I think that Diamandi's a really exciting one. He's going to be hopefully the left-hand side link. We were very good on the overload when Glenn Kamara used to play down that side with Joe Aribo, Borna Barisic, Ryan Kent. They all overloaded really well down there, and it worked out really, really well. And I'm hoping that we can maybe get something like that going. I'm really enjoying Ridvan at the moment. We spoke a wee bit about that last night. He's becoming a bit more robust and putting together a stretch of games. So I'm really pleased that he's still there, because I feel like he's coming on to a real game. So credit to him. But if we can get Diamandi over there on the left-hand side, maybe Fabio Silva might fit in on the left instead of Sima coming in. There's work to be done out there that I think now looks promising. I said last night, and I'll repeat this, that I feel like in the final third, we don't make decisive decisions well enough. And it seems strange having scored, 7 goals, 4 at Dumbarton and 3 at Easter Road, that we didn't make good decisions in the final third. But there was incidents in these games where I thought that if we just made that pass or been a wee bit more decisive in the shot, like Cantwell actually did and then scored, that we could have had more opportunities. So I'm hoping that Diamandi might be the player that brings that to us, a good old-fashioned number 8, Derek, which I think we've missed. We've had a lot of players that are not quite a 6 and not quite an 8. And I think John Lundstrom falls into that category. I don't think Lundstrom's a 6 because I don't think he's quite, kind of quick enough to play that role. But I'm not sure that he's an out-and-out 8. John Lundstrom's somewhere in between. And the role that the manager's found for him at the moment, I think he's excelling in. So if you get somebody box to box and capable of being that kind of clinical edge in the final third, I think that John Lundstrom will continue to thrive with that. So Diamandi's a one that we're excited about. And then Cortez, young, speedy, capable of doing a delivery. Joshua was saying last night he takes all the set pieces and he's got a very good kind of delivery.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, obviously Tav's there, but Tav, to be fair, Tav, has been kind of relinquishing some of the corner kick duties and things like that lately.
Yeah.
So, it's I don't think there's any need to say anything about that with regards to maybe thinking about being negative towards Tav. I don't think that's kind of relevant. But I think that if this guy comes in and he's capable of whipping in a few really good balls, Tav would say on you go anyway.
Yeah.
So if that's another option, and even if it's not from open play, if he's getting into these positions, and I like the analysis Joshua put out last night when he was just kind of explaining that in open games and games that are a bit more free, he maybe expects to see him on the left because he'll get a lot of room and be able to cut in, which he likes to do. But in tighter games, he'll maybe play on the right because he's capable of retaining the ball and he's capable of deliveries from tight situations and stuff. So I like that. That was a good analysis of what we maybe can expect from him. So I'm looking. Look, there's no negativity about these boys that have come in for me. I think that they're really exciting, and Ibrox will get behind them, and they will look forward to seeing what these boys are like, and and we have to trust what Coppin and Clement are doing. So I'm quite happy with these guys coming in, and I think that they'll be exciting. I'm not sure we'll see them just yet ready to start. I think that they'll gradually kind of get involved, but it's exciting. These, if you'd said to us at the start of the window that we would get 3 players in and this would be the caliber of them, we'd all have went, "Oh, that sounds fantastic," wouldn't we? But just typical kind of mindset of
It's all about
us
timings.
all. We all want a wee bit more, don't we? So that's kind of where I am.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's wrong, by the way, Derek. We all just want Rangers to win. We want Rangers to be successful. We want Rangers to have the best opportunity possible. And I don't think it's unfair to say, look, we're really happy with the window, really happy with these guys come in, but we're also a wee bit deflated. Maybe we wanted that extra bit to carry us to the title because, if we look back in the summer and we've missed out on a couple of draws and because we didn't have somebody to put the ball in the net, we're all going to look back to January and say we should have pushed the boat out then.
Yeah. I'll pop Stevie's article in the comment section, folks. Do go and check it out. It's a good read this morning. Let's get to a few of the comments that are coming in. First of all, Denzo says, enjoyed the show last night despite the absence of bodies in. Hard to be critical as we've signed some good players, but woefully thin up front still. Jim McCarroll says, hope your dentist doesn't suggest root canal surgery, Stevie. That's almost as bad as seeing Celtic score a last-minute winner. Don't wish that upon anybody. Maka with the point as well. He's optimistic, saying, morning, guys. Not the window I expected, but funny as it seems, I saw enough when we went down to 10 men in December to convince me we'll win the league. And we will, he says. There's an interesting point. Just on transfers, I want to address a couple of points here that caught my eye. First of all, Jan says, Stevie, Derek, what do you make of Connor Barron being passed over? Seems like we missed another opportunity. Swansea failed in a bid for him yesterday, I believe, about £500,000. We've discussed Connor Barron before, Stevie. Rangers should be eyeing up guys like this for next summer. Not only are they talented young lads, but they are also Scottish and they fill that homegrown quota.
Yeah, as you pointed out, we've discussed this quite a few times. So we should at least be exploring, like you say. I think the boy Derek Watson, I think that's his name.
Yep.
David Watson, Derek Watson. I'm not quite sure. At Kilmarnock is a smashing talent. Derek, I think that he's one that we should be looking at. I'm really worried that we'll miss the boat on Lennon Miller at Motherwell. I think he's cracking. I really do. I'm really excited about him. There's a few other Scottish players that are capable in there. I still have a real kind of liking for Josh Campbell at Hibs. I know he's out injured at the moment. I think he's a cracking player, making the kind of 10 runs. And people have said, Stevie, I think you're nuts with that, which is fair enough. But I think that there's quality in there in Scotland that we could harness, Derek, and make a lot better. And if you look back into Walter Smith's teams, Alex McLeish's teams that we've had, even Dick Advocaat's teams, the best Rangers winning teams of recent kind of years has all possessed the best Scottish players. You go back to Walter. Walter would always buy the best Scottish players.
Yep.
And then Alex McLeish was the same. Barry Ferguson. Walter, when he came back, got Kevin Thompson, David Weir, Dick Advocaat, as I spoke about the other day, in the midst of spending all this money on foreign players, went and got Neil McCann for £2 million, and it turned out to be a fantastic bit of business. Neil McCann will probably go down, as one of the best wingers in our time. Mm-hmm. Certainly in the period of the club's recent history, a fantastic footballer. So, I think that we need to be making sure, that we're cherry picking the best possible players from the league. I'm not saying that Connor Barron is on that level, but we should certainly be investigating these guys. And what you've got to ask yourself is Connor Barron capable of being a replacement for Ryan Jack? Is he capable of being a replacement for Kieran Dowell, perhaps, in terms of availability and what he can offer? You know, there's certainly a profile there that fits what we're trying to do. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. The fact that Aberdeen are knocking back $500,000 from Swansea really surprises me. I don't think there's much there. Maybe they're a wee bit more advanced on the contracts and think that they can keep them than, you know, to turn down $500,000 for a boy that's going to walk away in 6 months. I think it's interesting. So it's one of these ones where I don't think Philip Clement will ever come out in a press conference and say, yeah, we've had him scouted and I've decided that he's not good enough. I think, you know, I don't think he's ever going to really say that, but I'd like to think that we've at least asked questions in the background at the football club and scouted and done our due diligence there to make that decision. Either way, I'd hate to think that, you know, whatever's going to happen there, and then we go, oh, well, we didn't really investigate that situation. So I'm definitely all for looking more in the Scottish market, Derek, and seeing who's available and seeing who's there. I do think there's some players that we can enhance and some players that'll make a difference to the squad. So in the case of Miller at Motherwell and Watson at Kilmarnock, these are boys that we really need to get in before, because if they make that move, like Ferguson going to Bologna and stuff like that, they're now out of our market. They're gone and we'll never get them back. Josh Doig and things like that. So, you know, we were heavily linked with Doig in that January window, but it was never realistic because we need to get to the player before they make that move. So it is what it is. I would hope that we were doing our homework, certainly.
Yes, absolutely. Robert Grant gets in touch. Derek, can you give a shout out to my co-worker, old Glasgow Jimmy? Would make his day. Avid watcher. Great chat and work with your content. Absolutely superb stuff. Good to have your company on this Friday morning, guys. And just going back to transfers, a comment that was an interesting one. Gary says, trust Big Phil like the new transfer policy, but needed a 9, a Dwight Gale. Seen this yesterday. He's been released at Stoke City. He's now 34 years of age. He struggled for game time at Stoke, but he's a good trainer. I read a comment there from the Stoke technical director, Ricky Martin. No, not that one. He says, Dwight has been a true professional throughout his time of Stoke City and a positive influence around Clayton Wood. We thank him for his efforts during the past season and a half and wish him all the best for the future. Knows his way to goal. I've not really paid much. I know he hasn't played much at Stoke, but there was a comment that came in from James Stewart saying, could we sign a free agent striker? Yes. We touched on this on the transfer show yesterday. We rhymed off a few names of players that are without a club. Diego Costa being one of them, which would be box office, that's for sure. I would take Dwight Gale, Stevie, if that was an opportunity, just as a sort of insurance policy. Always been a fan of his. I know he struggled at his club he's just been released from, but I think he would do a job. What's your opinion on Dwight?
I think that Dwight Gale arrived this morning when I was trying to take my dog a walk, so nearly got blown away. But listen, if the manager deemed that kind of signing to work for the next few months and it helped us up top, I would be all for it. I've got to be honest and say that I think that Dwight Gale's best times are maybe past.
They are behind him.
Not a game for Stoke, then I would worry about bringing somebody like that in, which is maybe, you know, doesn't really rhyme true to me saying that you would want somebody in up top, but there's a balance to it, I think. But it would all be dependent on the manager. If the manager went and said, look, you know, I think this boy could do a job for 5 months, we're giving him a short-term contract, and he really did come in and help and be a good backup towards the Essers, and of course he would take it. I think that's obvious. I think that would make perfect sense, but I can't honestly sit and say that this is a no-brainer and we should really go and do it out and out, because if, as I said, if he's not getting a game at the moment at Stoke, then I'm not seeing him coming up here making that much of a difference.
Yeah, Neil McLean, we like a bit of comedy on the show in the morning. Says, "Living La Vida Stoka." So there you go. If you got that Ricky Martin reference, and let's get to tomorrow. Then before we do that, you can do that's kindly donated to the channel. Thank you very much, buddy. Says, just watched a video of Cortez poaching loads of goals in the box in the 9 position. No worries, lads. Trust the gaffer. There we go, folks. We can rest easy. Cortez is going to be the man. A comment came in from Day in the Life. Say, so lads, use who's in your starting 11 for tomorrow. Let me just fire up our teams for tomorrow, and we can discuss them in greater detail. I think this is your team, Stevie. It's just loading into the system as we speak. So you have gone for, let's get this comment off here. So this is your team for tomorrow. Butland, Goldson, Suter, Tavernier, Ridvan, Raskin, Lundstrom, Cantwell, Matondo, McCausland, and Cyril Dessers. I also don't have any new signings in my starting 11. I, however, do expect if the international clearance and all that jazz goes through, that we will see Diamandi and Cortez at some point. But your team, Stevie, explain.
Yeah, well, I think the back five picks itself. You know, Jack's never going to get replaced, which I understand. Ridvan's probably the exciting one out of the back five for me. You know, that's not to downplay the others. You know, Tav's brilliant. Like, he always pops up with a goal and stuff. I know that. But Ridvan's the exciting one because he's the one that's pushing on and kind of driving on. Midfield, I think, picks itself as well at the moment because of injuries and things like that. I don't think I've missed anyone out. Ryan Jack, I kind of swithered about maybe he's starting, but I don't see it. Todd Cantwell continues in the 10 position at the moment. And then it was a toss-up on the left. Am I going Fabio Silva or am I going Matondo? I just think that Matondo maybe would come in on that left-hand side. And then on the right, in all honesty, I'm not entirely sure that Scott Wright was that great against St Mirren. And then I'm not entirely sure that Ross McCausland, when he came on, was that great against St Mirren either. So it was a bit of a toss-up to see who starts on the right, because I don't think that, like you, that Cortez is maybe ready. I know that he's possibly trained 1 or 2 days the last couple, so need to find out where he is. Dessers is the man at the moment. He's a big guy that's in form and scoring all the goals. So he certainly starts as 9 for me. I'm not sure there's too many other options, Derek. I know a lot of people, and probably just to address something, I'm sure that in the comments, you know, I can't see them, but I'm sure that a lot of people are asking about Zach Lovelace. Zach Lovelace was due to be fit at the end of January, and that's when he was returning. I've not seen him pop up in any kind of training videos or anything, and I don't exactly know the latest update with him. It would be a good question for the manager today. Yep. I would love to think that he's in the manager's thoughts. If the manager come out and said, I didn't get another striker because I'm really excited about Zach Lovelace, and I've seen enough for me to think that he can push Cyril and Danilo and stuff, and I would accept that. I'd be like, right, fine, I can understand that. You know, we're giving a youngster a go, and that would be kind of make sense to me in a way. So it would be interesting to get an update on him, but without knowing that, I don't think there's much other options. And I'm not sure. Bear in mind that Joshua asked us to do this late last night, didn't he, Derek? And we had, we just done the show and stuff. I can't think that I've missed anybody else out that maybe has got a shout. Excuse me. So that's my 11 for tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll get a clearer picture, folks, later on from the manager if any players are out injured or what have you. But this is my team, slight deviation from yours, Stevie. I've gone for Silva as opposed to Dessers and Balogun alongside Connor Goldson. I did actually have Silva as opposed to Matondo. Then I started getting worried if we get Silva and Dessers on the pitch, risk of injury. So I'm thinking outside the box somewhat and thinking we'll rest one, play the other. I think Rangers should have enough to play either one of Silva or Dessers. I'd imagine Cyril will come on if the manager goes for that team at some point, and I wouldn't bet against him getting on the score sheet again because he is scoring goals for fun at the moment. Fabio Silva, I think it's important he gets his goal-scoring account opened up. I think tomorrow would present a good opportunity. No disrespect to Livingston, but they are a poor side. They are struggling big time, Stevie. The longer it goes on, it's going to be tougher for Fabio. He needs a goal, doesn't he?
Well, he's not played too much football so far. I think he's had a couple of wee chances, and I'm not overly concerned that you'd like to see a striker score as quickly as possible, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think tomorrow presents a good opportunity, not only for him, but for others in the squad. It's always dangerous to say that because Livingston will be well organised, they'll be compact. But I'm with you. I don't think they're a very good side. I've seen them a few times this season. Obviously, against us, we beat them twice, 4-0 at home under Michael Beale, which, at the time where we weren't really playing well, I think speaks volumes for where Livy are, maybe. So I'm not overly concerned about this game tomorrow, but that's always dangerous. It's always a dangerous thing to say. It needs to be the right attitude for us. We need to go and take the game to them and go and get the goals. And Derek, that at the moment I think we're maybe about 6 goals behind, although we've got a game in hand. I think that's nearly right. Somebody might correct me. It's something like that.
That could be massive come the end of the season.
So that was my point. I think, and psychologically as well, that if you go and put a few goals in tomorrow and really use every opportunity we've got to stake a claim and say, look, you might be winning or whatever they're going to do. They play, Aberdeen tomorrow. So that's obviously a 3 points for them quite easily because Aberdeen will just give that up quite easily. So
although a change of manager, who knows? They might. I know they don't have a permanent.
Who knows, Derek? I know we've seen it. I've seen them get beat 6-0 earlier in the season.
Peter leaving as the assistant, as the interim boss. So hopefully,
Peter's a good guy, by the way.
Yeah,
he's a really good guy. Played for us as a youngster and stuff. Yep. Obviously, deals with Kilmarnock and things. He's been out in Russia coaching, I think. So Peter's a good guy, and I would obviously say that he's a good coach and things like that. So good on him. But I don't hold out any hope. So that aside, if they go there and win that game early, we've got a chance to really kind of respond in the afternoon, make it a good convincing performance, hopefully get a few goals. And you pick Balogun there. I think that John Souttar in the last couple of games, particularly Easter Road, defended extremely well. I'm a bit concerned that John Souttar in the air, believe it or not, and it sounds like a weird thing to say, last week against St Mirren, there was a ball in and he kind of headed it right back out to the edge of the box, and that boy Kwon, who I think's on loan at Celtic. Sorry?
It's a weakness of his. He's not good.
I think it is. Like, I don't want to put him down too much and create something.
He's a good defender, but that is certainly that's his Achilles heel at times. He's getting caught.
I think that when you look at the goal against Copenhagen when he gets beaten there, that moment last week where he put the header right at the edge of the box from that cross and the boy scalped it over, I think that they've been the kind of worry behind it, where I don't think you get that from Balogun, but I also think that John Souttar's an excellent defender. If you look at the block last week that he did on 86 minutes when he blocked at the back post, he also had a block at Easter Road when he blocked it with his chest. It was really good last-ditch defending. So I think there's a possibility that John Souttar defensively is kind of getting to where we want him to be. But in the air, it's a bit of a risk. But I went for Souttar again tomorrow just because I feel like the sort of continuity of his partnership with Goldson is maybe where it is. So that is a choice for the manager. I did think, well, maybe he would rest Goldson, but Goldson's just been suspended at Easter Road, hasn't he? So
be fresh.
I'm not really concerned about him needing a rest or anything or rotating that kind of position. So I just think tomorrow, Derek, go and set the tempo, go and attack and put the game to bed as early as you can. Then you can knock it about and try and get a wee goal here or there. But we seen Ross County at Parkhead last week in a game where I thought that they would rack up 6 goals. They end up getting beat 1-0 and have a chance in the 94th minute. We don't want anything like that tomorrow at Ibrox. Livingston will be fighting for everything. I absolutely get it, but as you said, like they're not a great side. So let's go and put them to the sword early, set the tempo, and enjoy a Saturday at Ibrox. Yeah,
let's hope we do. Okay, folks, I think we'll wrap up there. Huge thanks to Stevie as ever, and to everyone for tuning in to the show. As I mentioned earlier on, it is press conference day, so we'll have all the reaction from the Rangers Training Centre on the YouTube channel, all the transcriptions on the website as well. So plenty to look forward to. I'm sure it'll be an interesting press conference. Should find out today as well about the Rangers European squad. Of course, they can make 3 alterations to that. The deadline was midnight last night, so it'll be intriguing to find out who has made that squad. Right, we'll speak to you. Well, I won't speak to you over the weekend because I'm away on the holiday. So Johnny and Joshua will be on the presenting Oki chair, taking you through the week next week. But as ever, we'll have all the usual pre-match and post-match stuff from Ibrox tomorrow. So hopefully you can tune in for that. And I'll speak to you in just over a week's time. Bye for now.